Happen.
Welcome to 2020. And
welcome to Cinema Bias.
Welcome, Guten Tag, good evening. Welcome to Cinema Bias, Ohio.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Or no, au revoir is goodbye, I think, in Francois.
Shalom, right? Which means hello, goodbye, and peace. This is Cinema Bias. This is me. I'm VideoDrew. I'm one of your hosts. With us, as always, we have my beautiful and lovely lipstick-colored wearing co-host, Alex Mack. It is entrancing. I need to get that color from you.
It's one of like the 50 lipsticks that I own. I'm not gonna lie. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. Guys, I'm super psyched. I'm Alex Mack, co-hosting this episode today. We're going to be talking about a big movie. One of the biggest movies in history. No, I'm kidding. We're not talking about that movie. We're talking about a classic of the classic of the 90s, at least a Disney animated Renaissance classic for sure. It is Disney's animated Mulan, circa 1998.
Guys, and we're not just talking about it to get the page views. We're not just like talking about it so we can get the SEO. We're talking about it for a very specific reason, because this is the show Cinema Bias, where we talk about movies that either one or both of us have not seen and like address, the sort of the systemic biases that we all unconsciously or consciously have against certain types of films and why we see certain ones and why we haven't. In this case, guys, gotta raise my hand. This is a real bad week for Drew and Jackie Brown and now Mulan. But Mulan was a movie that I had not seen up until last week. And I'm talking about the original. But we have somebody start there.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, it's actually really interesting to bring that up, because I didn't know. I assumed it's a pretty popular movie, not only of the 90s, but a very popular, Disney movie in general. It was very successful at the time. And you mentioned casually while we were doing one of the best things ever on Twitch karaoke one night, casually, that you were picking a song that you thought was a villain song. Let's get down to business. And you 110 million% thought it was a villain song. It wasn't.
I listened to that loop for like years, and like sometimes I get that song stuck in my head along with Be Prepared and Poor Unfortunate Souls, which in my mind, everything about that song speaks to the fact that it's a villain song. I cannot believe, I still to this moment refuse to believe that that's not the villain number in the musical. But we do have a very special guest to come on and talk about this movie with us, and it is somebody who has absolutely seen Mulan. That would be the Schmoedown's own Abigail Freel.
She is our very own Disney princess, Abigail Freel. Just want to clarify.
You are a Disney princess.
Oh my God. I don't need that hype.
I want to give you that hype. Abby, what's up? How's it going, girl? You're stunning. You're glowing. I'm here for it.
Thank you. I'm good. I'm excited to be here. I also was shook when I found out that Drew, who rocks I'll Make a Man Out of You almost every karaoke stream, had not seen the movie.
The name of Ursula's little eels, and it's Flotsam and Jetsam. Like, give me anything about Disney, I pretty much can nail it. But anything about Mulan apparently just passed me right the hell by.
And sing it like you know it.
Yeah, well, I sing it like I know because it's the greatest song ever. But it is a song about going to war and how when you're bad at being a boy, you act like a girl. And everyone's like a pansy. It's definitely a villain song, but we'll get into it. I think we also have with us, by the way, we have the delinquent himself, Lon Harris.
Hey. Where is he? Wait, where is he?
Can you see me?
He's next to the dog.
Oh,
the dog.
Yeah, I'll make it less confusing. I'll change the names.
I saw the dog, in there.
Yeah, stands out in the crowd. I understand.
So, despite what you might believe from watching his matches, Lon has also seen Mulan.
I knew that's why I was so frustrated in that moment, because I knew the answer was Mulan.
Yeah.
We had just done the honest trailer about Mulan the week before. Yeah.
And I knew the answer was Jackie Brown. It's fine. It's good.
Just didn't get there in time. Just didn't realize it was my moment.
So, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, exactly. We're going to be getting down to it. We're going to be talking about our favorite songs, our favorite characters, our favorite moments throughout the movie. But first, before we get into all that, we're going to talk real quick about what's your bias. Now, as our guest today, usually I would love to start with you. However, the person on screen that has not seen the movie until very recently was our lovely lady, Miss VideoDrew over there. So, Drew, in a nutshell, can you really put a cherry on top and tell us why you didn't see Mulan until like in the past like 48 hours. Why?
Oh yeah, well, I would say it's not a controversial statement. No, I'd say it's definitely it was inherent in unknown racism, because it is 100%, because I have not seen Mulan, I have not seen Princess and the Frog, and I haven't seen Moana. So those were the 3 Disney movies I haven't seen. So if I'm just being like honest with myself and I look back and I say, what are those 3 movies have in common, considering I've seen all the other Disney films? Because it's like really
Princesses of Color.
Yeah. Have you seen Pocahontas?
Yeah, I did. I definitely saw Pocahontas. Doesn't make me less racist though for having missed the other 3. I don't get like credit for seeing Pocahontas, which is in itself a very racist story.
Partial credit.
I'm just saying, like, I'm taking some inventory about the kind of movies I watch recently, especially in the last couple months. What kind of movies I watch, what kind of movies I'm gravitate towards, and there is a weird blind spot. I don't know how I missed Mulan, except it must have just seemed very other and not interesting to me. Like, I saw all the other Disney movies, all of them. So, yeah, and Princess and the Frog, I remember when that came out, and I was like, that doesn't even count. Like, that's not even going to count as a Disney movie. Like, I because it wasn't in like delayed production for a long time.
It was. That was sort of a troubled production one, but actually, it's the last like traditionally animated one that they produced. It's beautiful. I mean, the animation is.
It's
look. I saw.
Really
and
check it out.
I'm going to, and I've definitely like seen like Anastasia. I've seen a lot of DreamWorks movies. It's not like I haven't seen a lot of animated musical films. I know the music for this film. I guess even up until the point where I saw the movie, and after having watched it, I'm just kind of like, that's a Disney musical? Okay.
Well, it's really interesting you say that, because at least the thing is, we can talk about our biases all day and night, but the thing is, unless you actually not only confirm your bias and like bring it to the surface, and it's all about, like the show, the point of the show, Cinema Bias, it's all about challenging our personal biases, the subconscious ones, the not conscious, the subconscious ones, and totally conscious ones, and it's all about breaking those barriers down to really challenge ourselves and watch new movies. I didn't watch David Fincher, because I was like, those are weird movies. I don't want it until you challenged me to watch it. And so again, breaking that down. Now, going over to you, Abby, as our guest today, what was your bias going? You're in college, you're a younger person, and so you probably grew up with a lot of these movies, right?
Yes, I grew up with all the Renaissance films and even all the bad 2000s films that I didn't realize were bad until very recently.
I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that they're bad. No.
Those are bad.
And so I have always loved Mulan. She has been one of my favorite princesses, and this has been one of my favorite movies. I also very much love the direct-to-video sequel Mulan 2. That holds a special place in my heart. That movie slaps as well, but we're not talking about that one.
I do want to get into that at some point, because I want to know where that story's going.
Oh, I don't even know if you could predict.
Probably. I'm guessing not. And what about you, Lon? Would you always grow up wanting to be a Disney princess, or what?
Because I'm an interesting case, because I'm so much older than all of you. The Disney Renaissance started during my childhood. Like, I was like 10 or 11 when Little Mermaid came out, and like we saw it in the theater, and it was like, because I've been watching like all along. Like, we loved Great Mouse Detective when I was a kid, and like Rescuers Down Under, like that, and like Oliver and Company. Like, I saw all those movies. So Disney movies were ever present when I was a kid. They were just like not that good, and then all of a sudden they got amazing. And so I loved Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast. Aladdin was like a huge favorite of mine when I was
Lion King.
Lion King. So my journey, by the time we get to Mulan, and it's the later 90s, I'm in college. I sort of outgrown. So I saw Mulan, but probably not in a theater, like probably catching up.
What year was
years
Mulan?
later.
Sorry,
1998.
Yeah, so I'm like a sophomore in college at this point. Not exactly prime Mulan watching
That explains it.
territory.
That also explains me a little bit more. I'm in the beginning of high school. And when you're in the beginning of high school, you're watching like 10 Things I Hate. You're not going to see the Disney. Like, my sister went to go see the Disney movie.
I mean, I was still seeing Disney movies in high school because I was just like eager young movie nerd. Like, ooh, I hear that this one's based on Hamlet. You know, like.
I'm going to hold out for The Matrix. That'll be next year.
Yeah, so it was.
Oh my gosh, guys. It's like you're a bunch of nerds.
By college, I sort of figured out like, no, we don't go see Disney. So I think I caught up with this one and a lot of the others from this era, like Hunchback or whatever, like the later period. I probably caught up on those like a few years later when I was like a less shitty person.
Yo, I'm not as racist as I think. I also miss Hunchback. I think I just missed this whole
that's a white guy one.
Have you seen Hercules?
I love her.
I think wasn't Hercules a little bit earlier?
97.
It's from the same run. Hercules. I think Hercules is like the best of that late. Myself.
Hey, I one time answered a question correctly about Hercules, but it took me.
I got a 5-pointer once about Hercules.
What was it?
What kind of mythological creature is Danny DeVito's character Philoctetes?
It's not a centipede. It's like
it's a centaur. Centaur?
No,
it's a fawn centaur thing. It's like
a fawn thing, but it's not.
It's called
It's a satyr. A satyr.
Like a satyr plate.
Like SATYR, a satyr.
Anyway,
like Mr. Tumnus from Narnia, where he's got like deer bottom. Top.
Yeah, anyway. I mean, like I could describe the beast. I just didn't know the official title. I never went through as a kid. I never went through that like mythology phase. Apparently, I'm very sad I missed as a kid.
Yeah,
that was the 5-pointer.
So my one time in my single match, my team's match this season, my 2-pointer was what Disney villain has hair made of blue flames, and it took me a hot second because I was like, because I can remember, James Wood had flames for hair, but I thought they were red, and so in my head I was like, Ursula can't have flames underwater that would burn out.
No.
And so, like I literally had to do that thing where it's like
she's got like a drag queen wig thing going on.
But, like I had to do it, and you can actually go back and watch Dan Humphries and like Dan and John just like Real Rejects being like, oh, please miss this, and I go, Hades? They're like, yeah.
Well, yeah, so I mean, like again, when it comes to Disney Renaissance movies, these came out obviously very different times for all of us. But it sounds like Abby, this came out like the exact right time for you. A lot of these movies as well. Now we're gonna dive into some of our relationship with Disney Renaissance and all that good stuff a little bit later. But we are going to be going into the next segment of it, and we're going to be putting a lot of the pressure on our lovely Video Drew over here. And Abby, at the end of this segment, I would love to hear you be like, nah, bitch, you were wrong. Okay. I would love to hear your feedback. So Drew has 1 minute on the clock to tell us the entire plot of Mulan, start to finish, including characters, subplots, all that good stuff.
Can't do worse than you did with Raising Arizona. Got it. Let's go.
That's fair. That's incredibly fair.
So starting now?
Let's do it now.
So there's this young woman in Providence. She's supposed to get married. She's supposed to be a proper young woman. She's the only daughter of a family that has a dad who has a broken leg. She can't do it. She can't be the proper young woman because her grandmother gave her a grasshopper, and that was a big whoopsie. Cricket. So the war comes, the Huns come and attack, and their dad's going to have to go off to war. And she's already shamed the family. So she decides, cut off all her hair. She's going to go to war in place of him. There awakens an old dragon god, I guess, from like her ancestrals, but it's actually a tiny little god named Mushu. It's Eddie Murphy. Why? I don't know. Harvey Fierstein's also there as like one of the old guys. It makes no sense. Then she goes to war. She kind of falls for her. It's like you get a Yentl situation, straight Yentl. So that happens, and then they find out that she's a woman after she defeats the Huns, but then she has to go defeat them again. Everyone's super racist. I mean, not racist. Everyone's super sexist until the day that she doesn't get the Huns, and then she defeats them. And
time. Girl, you missed some plot points. Well, but we're gonna talk about that.
Parts.
You know what? I don't think you did too bad, all things considering. Abby, what do you think about her quick summation?
I think you fundamentally got what the beginning of the movie is about. You kind of.
That's usually how this works. You get the beginning.
Yeah. Once you hit there's 15 seconds left, then you start scrambling.
Now, I start self-outing again. I will self-out once again that I was very, very sick on the day that we watched this. I mean, he will attest. I was vomiting in a corner like a horror movie all day. Yeah. So like I was zooming in and out of this movie. I caught a lot of it. I didn't catch the very, very end of it, but Lon has filled me in, and that's crazy. That's great. Okay. They're gonna give her a bunch of gifts, but like not let her be empress or like queen.
She definitely does not become empress.
She's not princess.
No. Because definitely not. She's canonically a Disney princess, but she doesn't marry a prince. Like she's probably gonna date Li Shang at the end, who's a general's son, which is pretty good.
Not a lot of dating.
You know, they're gonna hang out a few times. They'll go see a movie.
So what did I miss?
Come to
Guys?
dinner.
What did I
Well, Abby, what are some of the big points that you wish that Drew was able to cover?
Oh, wish, but I just made a mistake.
You did come for Harvey Fierstein.
Yes.
Let me think. I think you're just too detailed. I do think that it is important that she. Wait, what?
Oh no, sorry. I was putting this eyeliner on my lip. Sorry. Go ahead.
Of course, as you should.
It happens. I think something about the end that's important is that she does get accepted by the emperor and China as a whole because she really risked it all to go to war for her family. And instead of getting actually executed, she survives and gets honored.
Yeah, if only every woman could save the entire nation of China, things might improve a little bit. Like,
I mean,
come on, ladies.
I don't. This is something I don't get, and I don't
Save China.
I don't want to talk out of turn. I really don't. And this episode's gonna be a real sort of Drew bite her tongue because she doesn't know geopolitical issues that much. But like, as far as I know, this is pure fantasy because it's not like in the Chinese feudal system after this, like women were allowed to go fight.
This is based on an epic poem. It's folklore.
Yeah.
It's not real history.
But even in their folklore, they have women that are allowed to fight, even though they're like, you can't even have women.
No, I mean, Mulan is like a very famous warrior.
Yeah, there's actually several like historical accounts of really well-known female warriors that led armies. In Mongolia, in particular, they have a huge history of female fighters that would lead entire armies. That would be the leader of their towns, things like that. And actually, in Mongolia, in particular, females were considered the heads of the household, and a man was considered disgraceful if he didn't listen to his woman, the head of the household. And usually, in a marriage, you want to seek a female partner that was actually older than you purposefully so they can help you guide you better into a more efficient, better life. So
right. I mean,
interesting.
They would be willing to kill you if you went to go war for that side.
It was very common for and obviously, politically speaking, China and Mongolia and different parts of India, it all meshed together at different points in time. Obviously, it's a huge place.
So what do you think
this part in particular?
Do you think there was anything huge I missed? You feel like there was?
Well, there was a few things I felt like you missed. I think that Abby definitely touched on them. Is that her integration into Nat's definitely covering it right there. My boy Nat from C2A. Yeah, is that her integration into the military, into the army? So she cut off her hair and all that good stuff. But at the same time, there's several songs and she overcomes she learns to troubleshoot. She figures things out. She gets some friends and she's like binding her boobies. She's bathing. She's bathing at 3:00 in the morning. In order to kind of figure things out, she's using Mushu to like blow off some bombs. Really? It's like a whole thing.
Mushu was relevant in any situation. But here's something I want to bring up. Did they front load the songs in this one? Like, there is no song after "I'll Make a Man Out of You," correct? Like
there's "Girl Worth Fighting For."
Oh, "Girl Worth Fighting." Well, that's a real wet raspberry to go out on, as opposed to "Let's Get Down to Business."
Yeah, and then I guess they have "True to Your Heart" over the credits.
Yes,
weird, man.
An amazing song.
Which one's the radio?
Another 5-pointer that Lon has gotten.
Really?
Stop making up for last time.
It was what boy band sung "True to Your Heart" on the radio edit from Mulan?
Yeah, do you guys know that one?
How did I know this? I don't know where this information came from. 98 degrees. Very good. I don't know why that was in my brain, but it was. That was the message.
They stop as soon as. So this is something that I guess Fiddler on the Roof really could have taken a lesson from. As soon as you burn the town down, you don't need any more songs because the songs are just going to be depressing. Like literally last time I saw Fiddler on the Roof was on Broadway a couple years ago. My ex brought me there as a Valentine's Day gift, and I was like, "That's so sweet, honey. I want to leave it intermission if that's cool with you because like we're going to leave on the high note. We're going to leave it like the second act of that is just going to be really depressing. Mm-hmm. Everyone's going to like get really bad off, and the songs go way downhill." Like there's no great song after the first act of Fiddler. So maybe that makes sense. The songs stop as soon as they see the town burn down. I still think it could have used a couple more songs to thread the needle a little bit. It has that Willy Wonka feel of being like, it starts out like song heavy. So you're like, this is a musical. And by the end I was like, I mean, maybe they lived in a musical up until a certain point, but then they just,
I mean,
there's no kill the beast. There's no.
Yeah, the whole movie has a little bit of an issue with balance, I think, where it's trying to be a bunch of different things, and like it mostly works. Like it's a traditional Disney musical, and it's this kind of war movie adventure story, and it's trying to do a lot of the sort of whimsy and comedy, and like I think there are moments when those tones kind of collide,
and then sometimes Harvey Fierstein.
It's not always seamless, the transition between jokey stuff and then serious stuff and then song. But I'd say like 80% they get there.
One thing you pointed out that is now very distracting is that half the characters are played by voice actors who are Asian, and half of them are played by like Harvey Fierstein types.
It's a little weird.
And it's really jarring.
When you're watching the movie and suddenly that voice like, hey, how's it going, Mulan? Like that's a weird moment.
And like Mushu, I can accept because Mushu's like, another worldly creature.
Yeah, it's already mad.
But Harvey Fierstein's supposed to be playing like a one of her ancestor.
Man.
That seems weird. And also, it's always struck me as weird that the singing voice of General Chang, is it Chang?
Yeah.
The BD Wong character.
Yeah. BD Wong won
right?
It's Donny Osmond. He won a Tony on Broadway. Like BD Wong had already won a Tony for his singing voice. What was the point? Like, why do that?
I mean, I guess they wanted to promote that Donny Osmond was singing because he's famous as a singer, whereas BD Wong was famous as an actor.
He wasn't not even famous as.
Yeah, I mean, in the '90s, BD Wong was like a character actor strictly.
Look,
You're not going to put that on like the radio or market it as sung by BD Wong.
I get it when it's Chris Sarandon, he can't sing a note, so you bring in Jack Skellington from Oingo Boingo. I get it when you get like Tate Donovan and he can't be Hercules singing voice, so you get Roger Bart. BD Wong can sing, and it's not like anyone was like, oh man, you ever hear Donny Osmond do that, like let's get down to business song? Although I have read the Wikipedia page about that number. He took it very seriously, so much so that he would punch himself in the stomach in the recording booth, Donny Osmond, so he would get the right noise that he had to do when he was like, and one time he made himself throw up. So
I'm trying to imagine like Frank Sinatra doing that one time.
I mean, if you're going to torture yourself for a movie, I mean, it's a pretty great movie to do it for, let's be honest. Well, we've kind of you guys have mentioned a little bit about how it definitely has its flaws. As no movie's perfect, obviously. But let's kind of talk about a little bit about some of our moments that might have surprised us about how much we enjoyed. Great moments in the movie. You made reference a favorite song, a favorite line, maybe a funny little joke here or there, or maybe you just want to highlight a one character throughout that would just became the light of your life for like 30 minutes, So, Abby, you in particular, what are some of your favorite moments from the movie that you love?
Yes, my favorite all-time scene from this is when she decides to leave for the camp, and it's the best synth music that you've ever heard, and it's just so kick-ass, and I love that one. And then I love Mushu. I do agree with Lon where the tone of the film kind of struggles with itself a little bit, especially because it is a pretty dark movie. Yeah. In terms of what it is.
That's like legit scary for a second.
Yes, it is.
That's like, honestly, that's like legit scary looking.
It's hard to make movies like this because it's pro-war. Like it's pro, like the idea of it is like it's like pro, women warriors, but it's also very much pro-military and pro-war to a certain extent. Like that's like what her purpose is. Like that's the only thing we know about her that is like Belle had her books. Like Little Mermaid had her thingamabobs. Right. All we find out about our Mulan is that she's good at war.
I mean, I feel like they kind of get around this just by making it's defensive. Like they're not an invading army that's trying to wipe out the Huns. It's an incursion. Like they're defending themselves, and these villages on the border are being burned and destroyed. So I think they kind of get around because it's an essential war. It's not a war of choice.
Sure. But it still raises this icky question of like when they find out she is a woman and they send her back and she's like in disgrace and whatever. But like, she just like saves the day again because she's very good at war. She's very good, strategic, it's almost like, she's almost like make a Game of Thrones reference right here. She's like a Brienne of Tarth, but like smarter at like strategy. So they're like, oh no, not only like do we like you now and you're not going to die, but like we like respect you. And it's like, well, because of war, because you're a lady good at war. So I guess
it's a different time.
It's it's definitely a movie that just kind of putting perspective. Jonathan Caro in the chat is just highlighting, you mean when Mulan leaves her family's house and leaves her father's armor with a horse accompanied by the synth music? Awesome score by Jerry Goldsmith. Favorite moment besides the battle? That was a paragraph, my dude.
I have a different answer of a favorite character. I loved, and then you can say his name because I don't remember it. I loved Albert from Twin Peaks' bad guy.
She means Miguel Ferrer as the leader of the Huns, whose name I don't remember.
He takes a whole different direction than any other of the Disney villains who have always been campy and like fun.
I love the design of that character. It's really his voice and the look is really cool and menacing. Yeah. But I will say, considering that the Huns were a real group of historical human beings, to make them like monsters, like they have claws and fangs, basically.
But you have to say that like what they do in this movie that is like different and like kind of cool and different than Disney movies is they like show him unequivocally like this is some Game of Thrones stuff. They like are like they let the two guys go back and tell the people we've arrived, and then they're like he goes how many people do you need to tell a message? One.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh damn, because like that's cold. That's not a Gaston move. That's not like something you show in the first
act. That's like a Ramsay Bolton.
That's a Ramsay Bolton move. And usually you hold off, like even in Pocahontas, like the guy's greedy, but you don't get to like the murder stuff until like later in the game. Like just the fact that this guy is just like a stone cold killer. Like he's like a a Lannister. He's like the Lannister dad. It's a big move. Tywin Lannister. Not giving him a song is like I feel like a specific choice because almost every other Disney villain besides Hercules is Hades has a song.
Well, I do think there's almost a reason for that. Well, I like to think, Disney villains, when we watch Disney movies, most of the time, except for a handful, like I can't think of a song in Sleeping Beauty where Maleficent has a song off the top of my head. Yeah, but I mean, there's very few that.
Hellfire.
They're very few and far between. And a lot of cases, the villains have the best songs. And the point of a villain song is to kind of, make a villain sympathetic a little bit in theory to, or have a moment, or sometimes, not always, but where you kind of like, where you kind of almost, you kind of, you like really vibe with the song. I mean, how can you not be like so excited? Yeah, they're the best song of the entire movie. And I honestly would be I don't know how I'd feel if a character like this guy who is like a legit villain. He's not a campy villain like Ursula or Hades. He's like a legit villain. He's like scary.
I'll tell you how he gets a song. He gets that song called "I'll Make a Man Out of You," and it's about literally you give him that song. Like he mentioned, Miguel Ferrer can sing. You give him literally that song. You put it in a little bit more of a minor key. Like this is like did I send for dog? I asked, you're the saddest bunch, and I'll make a man out of you. Like. It's the whole thing still works. It's a villain. So I cannot believe that song is for like the hero, the male hero to sing, because that is a bad person song. Like it literally starts with did they send me daughters when I asked for sons? Because being a daughter,
ironic because they did.
Oh, I get the irony, but he's using it as a pejorative, and then he's like, "You must be swift as a."
That's his. To be fair, that is his journey. Like by the end, he's learned the lesson that I shouldn't judge.
Yeah, I should ask for women.
My most capable soldier Ping ended up being a woman, so I was wrong.
The journey that he went on is that now next time he'll ask for daughters and sons when he.
The journey next time is exactly like, why don't more women just save China, and then we won't have this problem.
I will say that, like,
the point is. Women are bosses, guys.
Yes.
Let's
just the point of every movie.
Let's just make that clear. Yeah, legit terrifying, legit scary.
Fireworks. He's killed with fireworks, which is particularly brutal.
Yeah, it's awful. I have to say, some of my favorite moments from the movie. There's no part like we can talk about the complete majesty. I think Abby, the scene that you talked about, is one of my favorite scenes throughout the movie. But also, some of my favorite scenes is the battle scene with the Huns, where you see it down the mountain, where you see like the armies like trudging down, and like the cinematography in this movie, I think is honestly quite stunning. The color, the colorism in this movie is beautiful as well. I love how bold and vibrant it is on one side with Mulan and, with the army and everything, with all the greens and the reds and the blues. But with the Huns, it's like a direct contrast with grays and yellows and browns.
We'll have to check this out because I don't know if this is absolutely true, but it does feel like, because after with the animators, when they brought in the Lion King animators, they were like, let's start, we're doing like something totally different, experimental. It looked way different than Little Mermaid. And I feel like it might have been the same crew. If not, they were very much inspired by that idea of like, we're pushing the envelope of what a Disney movie can look like, because very famously, Be Prepared, they're goose-stepping hyenas that are like scars cast in the shadow. And it's literally the triumph of Nuremberg, like the triumph of the will, like the Nuremberg Hitler rally. And like, that's just what they were doing. Like, and this movie is very much a political movie. It's a war movie. And it's got some stunning fight sequences that are, just don't look like a Disney film. Like, this is not marketed for little girls that, we want to be Disney princesses.
Yeah, it's also, like they're taking some, like, a lot of the character design and, like, even stuff like the smoke effects and others. Like, they've given it a very distinctive look that I guess is partly modeled on, like, traditional Asian art and that kind of style. But yeah, it doesn't look like any of the other Disney movies that came out in this era, which is nice. Like, when a movie has that kind of original aesthetic sort of palette that doesn't seem familiar.
I kind of wish I'd seen this movie growing up, or like I'd been younger when this movie came out, because this is not probably going to shock anyone to know, I grew up with very, very short hair. I had a rat's tail. I had like a buzz cut, and I had just like a shaved Star of David into the side of my head because my parents. Yeah, Newark, Delaware, that went over real well. Like, I'm just.
It's kind of asking for trouble right there.
I mean, people didn't know what to make of it. I went around the playground. I was wearing dresses. People were very confused. But like, if I had seen like a Disney princess who was supposed to look like a boy, and like that was just how she spends the majority of the film, like that would have been pretty badass. Like, I would have really related to that aspect of it. I really would have probably like found something there that would have awoken something in me, or spoken to me.
Yeah. Well, that's actually a great point you've made. Obviously I do think that when they decided to make Mulan, it seemed like a very conscious effort to be like, hey, we want to include a woman of color. We actually want to see a woman that's actually being badass and doing something that's not traditionally female focused.
I mean, but
also, but it's not. It's
getting some heat for.
It's also not a European story as well. It's not told with European characters or anything in mind. Exactly. I mean, that's like, there's not that many there. It only started around this time where we started getting, like characters outside of like Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, and Beauty and the Beast, and
Aladdin also has some stereotypes.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask.
Was not great.
Growing up with this, did you notice like a difference between like Princess Jasmine? Because I remember like I was already at the age where I was like, she's not doing very much for like a prince. Like, she's not even the main character, and she's just kind of sitting there. Like, yes, she wants to be free and stuff, but she doesn't really do very much. That's one thing I did like in the remake, that they made it sort of like she wanted to be the head of the state. Like, she should have been the Sultan.
It should be like, we shouldn't have a sultan. It's weird that it's just the acceptance that we're just always going to have a sultan.
Don't petty fog it. Okay. Just to start though,
it's not a history lesson, dude.
It's nice that
this is not history bias here.
What's kind of what we were saying about Mulan too?
I was asking Abby a question, and the question to Abby was, did you like watching this? Did you notice like a shift? Were you like, oh, this isn't like the Disney movies I'd seen before? Like, did it register as something different?
Not necessarily. I was -1 when this movie came out. So
never mind.
Yeah. So yeah. So for me, like, especially with the Renaissance, like all Disney movies I saw at the same time. So there was no like, oh, I know Mulan came out after Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast. So like did
it register for you as a different kind of movie? Like,
not necessarily. I do remember like growing up, like I had her costume and I had Pocahontas's costume as well, which is now like yikes. But I don't think until I grew up that I did realize, like, oh, that was a big step for representation, like with the company and with the stories that they're telling. Because even though there is moments like Donny Osmond and Harvey Fierstein, even Aladdin was mostly a white cast. Like it was.
That's absolutely true.
Steve from Full House as Aladdin. So
it was who?
Steve from Full House is Aladdin.
Boyfriend.
No.
Yeah, he's like his face is even based on him.
Yeah.
No. Well, Lion King, which was supposed to take place in Africa, very famously had Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Matthew Broderick and Jeremy Irons and
James Earl Jones. They got him in there.
But he's not from Africa.
And Robert Guillaume.
They're not from.
No, they're not.
They're African American. But you see what I get what you're saying. I also think that it's a sticky issue, but it does bring up this idea of like the moment there's representation, there's also this co-option of like, let's dress all the little white girls in the Mulan outfit.
Well, I mean, even in Mulan, and like it's not like Aladdin is worse on this level where it's like they cut off your ear if they don't like your face, and it's a lot of like barbaric sort of stuff. This one, it's less of that, but they do still like there's a lot of like that one Chinese string instrument and like fans, and it's still a little like.
But this takes place during one of their myths, which would have that.
It does still sometimes lean. There's a lot of jokes about like. I'll have the sesame chicken or like whatever. Like it's not perfect. Like it's a gradual progression. We're getting better and better about it.
Super bad with the drag jokes.
There's a lot of transphobic weird stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie of the times. I feel like I don't feel like it. There's aspects of it I feel like it does age well, but other aspects I feel like don't age well. It's almost it's like I feel like it's important to. Like, if I were to have kids, I would be like, I'm going to sit you down and I'm going to force you to watch this movie because I feel like it's important for many reasons. But it's also, I also say that towards a lot of movies like 16 Candles, because 16 Candles to me is a trash movie. And it's horrible for a million and one reasons, including like date rape, racism, sexism, really creepiness, and a whole lot of different levels. But it's important to watch it just to understand that watching this movie is important to recognize bad things happen and these things, and we shouldn't we can't just forget that. Obviously, we had to remind ourselves that this has happened.
Look, I think it's important to note that I don't ever plan on having kids, but that's kind of why I created Cinema Bias, so I could have like some reason to be like, I don't necessarily agree with the values of Blue Velvet. I don't agree with the values of Blue Velvet, but it's important to have seen Blue Velvet. Like I do think it's important that people see Blue Velvet and see some of the uncomfortable themes that David Lynch addresses in that about sexuality and incest and the push
rape.
Rape. I think it's important that people understand that he was showing this ugly side of suburbia that has always, whether he did so effectively. I don't like watching that movie, but it's important to have seen it. I'm so glad that I don't have kids because that's what they'd be watching at my age. Like at whatever age I would have a child at, they'd immediately just be watching Blue Velvet.
Like
Alpha Womb watching Blue Velvet.
Okay. Well, we are going to be diving into the next big session, the next big thing of our episode today. I'm sorry.
Did Abby say what part was her favorite?
Yes.
Oh yeah, she did. Yes. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was like talking about like I think it was everything pretty much. And Jonathan, he like reconfirmed everything. It's like the process of her making the decision of leaving the house, cutting the big moment where she cut the hair with that one perfect long stroke that's so iconic.
Alex, what was your favorite part, and what was Lon's favorite part? Or if I just totally missed it?
Oh, I talked about the battle scene with the Huns. Yeah, the battle scene. It was just like we can talk about. I don't care about the lines or anything all that much, but visually, I feel like it was one of the most stunning scenes in the entire movie.
Yeah,
I've got one too, and they actually recreated in the live action one, which is interesting. It's the like skinny dipping bathing scene, just because.
Oh, really, Lon? That's your favorite?
Yeah. No, seeing that movie, it's the first time I can ever recall in any Disney movie where there is that they've got innuendo and they've got to like manage it while keeping it appropriate to the tone of the movie. And I think it's well done. It's a really interesting balance how they kind of get around that.
And it's something you're going to think about. You're like, how
and sexy.
It's sexy.
Partial animated nudity.
Well, it's kind of funny that well, it's kind of funny that, I mean, like, let's be honest, Abby, if and Drew, as women, hypothetically, if we were in this situation, it would be on the forefront of our minds. How can we actively avoid not getting caught that we're women? What are we doing all the time? What am I doing when my period comes? How am I baiting? How am I getting my boobs tied down to make sure that they don't hit me in the face? We're asking the important questions here. So it's actually nice that they kind of addressed it in a light way, because obviously you're not going to talk about bloody messes,
and they're not dressed
in a Disney movie.
The idea of rape or like that kind of thing.
Yeah,
it would be the real thing if a woman wanders into camp. I mean, at no point does she consider becoming a VideoDrew and just escaping that paradigm that way. But
no, she doesn't consider taking on
no, like it's becoming like a third thing. Yeah, so she doesn't have to deal with that.
But that seems like you could just make it all comic, because it's like a farcical situation. Like I'm naked and they're naked and I've got to get away, but they don't. They allow it to play for real.
And it's not like just one of the guys. It's not like that she's the man. It's not like this, or it's not even like Yentl. Although Yentl is also very serious in tone. About like a young Jewish woman trying to become a rabbi. Right. Still not the stakes of war or getting killed by getting caught, but definitely that is communication stuff. But it's not played for any comedy. It's definitely, it vacillates in this movie. It's kind of played for comedy when the ancestors want to make jokes about drag.
At the end, Mushi comes in and the scene does become more comic.
Well, tell me a little bit about what Eddie Murphy's thought process was on taking this. Do you think it was because of Robin Williams doing it in Aladdin?
Yeah. I think Robin Williams was so celebrated doing it in Aladdin, he thought, I'm going to do that same thing and people will love it.
Was this before or after Shrek?
This was pre-Shrek.
Before. I do know that he filmed it in his basement, I believe.
Really?
Like he didn't go to LA. I think he lives in New Jersey or New York or something.
What year was it? Was it the year that he'd been arrested for the transvestite on
I'm tempted to say it was later than that. Okay. This was 90. He would have been making the movie in 96, 97.
This was pre-Doolittle though, and it was pre-Nutty Professor.
I mean, it was around the same time as Nutty Professor. He probably made this in Nutty Professor.
And Nutty Professor was his comeback role from that incident.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
So it might have been in the aftermath of that.
That's very interesting. I mean, it literally just is interesting. It's a movie about a trans woman. I mean, there's something.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He took the role. It couldn't have been something he didn't think about.
He probably got paid a lot.
Yeah. He was very famously Eddie Murphy was caught cheating on his wife, I think on a boat somewhere with a transgender person.
A transgender prostitute, I believe.
Yeah. Sort of like in the birdcage, yeah. So, interesting.
Well,
interesting thing to think about.
Yeah, was he the one he said he was just giving them a ride home, I believe?
That was Hugh Grant.
That was Hugh Grant. You're right.
That's a whole other conversation for a whole other day. That's for sure. When it comes to, something I think that is important about this episode in particular, other than, the fabulous Abby Freel here, obviously, is that, our the Schmoedown's very own Disney princess, obviously. And Lon, you're okay too.
You're a Disney princess.
I'm kidding. You are. But actually, I want to know. So Abby, you in particular, like I said, you are Schmoedown's, Disney princess. One of my favorite Schmoedown personalities overall. I would love it for you to assign each of us to Disney characters or just Disney princesses in particular.
No. Better the first time. Not
Disney characters. Okay, Disney characters.
Okay.
You can go as realistic or as ridiculous.
If you can be a princess,
just have fun with it. Whatever you want.
You don't want to be a Disney princess, Drew?
I would be offended. I think I would actually be offended if someone compared me to a Disney princess, just because I never wanted to be a princess.
I have my character picked out for you.
Okay, so let's
Lon, you're next after this. I have to say, yes.
Okay.
You get to sign others. Yeah.
Okay.
Guys, are we really confused about who I want to be, or is this who you guys think I am?
I think I have a good one picked out for you.
Okay, well, why don't you go first then, Lon?
Okay.
Well, just I don't have. I'll think about our other participants, but Mad Madam Mim from the Sword.
Yes.
And the
Oh my God.
Oh, great one.
Yes.
It's like chasing
Like-
the boys around.
like witty, a big personality, lives in the woods. I
Yeah.
feel like this is a good.
She's got like a thing going
She's
on.
a
with
witch.
Merlin.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
She and Merlin have like their weird little whatever.
Rivalry. Yeah.
Want to fight? Want to have a witch?
Got turned into a chipmunk.
I love that. That was my favorite as a
Oh,
kid.
God.
I can't explain why.
Oh God, she would be great. You know, Helen Bonham Carter would do a great her.
I've often thought if they were like, Lon, you can write any Disney live action reboot.
The only rule is you can't be screaming.
I'm gonna scream, but that's my role. That would be the one I would pick. I would want to do Sword in the Stone.
That's a good one.
That's a great pick.
Okay, did everyone else go for me, and then I'll think about everyone else.
Yeah.
I feel like you have. I just had it. Have you seen Emperor's New Groove?
Of course. Oh my God, am I Eartha
Yzma?
Kitt? Yes.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Yes, because I have a Tom, and it's basically Putty from Seinfeld.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sure,
and as I
sure.
ordered the pizza or whatever, or Ethan Irwin quote insert here. No, I mean, Yzma is great.
That's a good one.
I haven't seen
Yeah.
that movie in a real long time, so I can't remember any of her exact quotes. But it's Eartha goddamn Kitt, so like hell, yeah,
Eartha Kitt.
Yeah.
Oh.
that woman.
Oh, iconic. She's so awesome. And by far,
That's like Kitt impression.
if we're going to talk about a movie that's like just about perfect, that
Yeah.
movie. Definitely one of the most perfect animated movies out there.
Was that was in contention? Was that your match, Lon? Where it was asked about?
No, it was Ethan Irwin and Rokas.
Yeah, where it was like the trampoline.
Yes,
delivery.
yes, that
Yeah,
one.
we didn't order it.
Oh, that's a
I
hard
love
question
Emperor's
too.
New Groove, and I did not know that one.
Did not get
Yeah.
it. I will
Yeah.
say NerdChronic in the audience who gets every single question. I think he did get it after like a beat, but it took him a beat, and like he doesn't.
I think I guessed like Meet the Robinsons just because I was like, it's got to be contemporary because who's getting a trampoline delivered? It couldn't be, like Mulan doesn't have it. So it was like Bolt or Meet the Robinsons, and I was going through those.
I was thinking it had to be something older, but it was going to be like a reference, like Road to El Dorado or something like that.
Yeah, once I heard the answer, I was like, oh, of course, that makes total sense because it's full of contemporary sort of references.
I watched that movie all the time in high school, but I was also on like a ton of LSD, so I don't actually remember any specific moments.
Is there any other way to go about Disney movies? Let's be honest.
High school.
Or high school, sure. Okay, so Abby, could you assign anything towards Alon?
Okay, I feel like just because of your iconic Hercules question, you do give me the energy of Danny DeVito in Hercules. What's his name in that film?
Phil.
TV's is the full name.
Yeah.
Great pick. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's not. I got straight Hades vibes from you. You get like that.
Hades.
Yeah, because he's
Hades.
like fun.
He's a guy.
He's also like fun. He can play like different kinds of like things. He's got that James Wood energy, which at the time was not that problematic.
It's true. It was better.
I think it's one of James Wood's better roles. This is one of his funnier roles. I'd say between that and the genie, like that would be the two.
Okay.
Like you got that, you got that like that hustle, like that. You kind of have that, you did that meta commentary thing that both Genie and Hades known for.
A lot of voices. Sure.
Yeah, you're kind of like the Beetlejuice of Disney.
All right.
So,
Sure.
yeah.
I could see that. Yeah. That's fair.
Alex, what do you think I am? What did you give me?
I'm horrible when it comes to picking.
Guys, come on! I can be
That's
smart.
why. Shoot. I don't know her name. It's Zagira from Lion King. Or something like that. The evil female lion.
Lion King 2?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Oh,
I feel like I'm not saying her name right. It's I was like, because I was obsessed with that movie. I was like,
Zira.
Zira. Yes, thank you. But she had one of my favorite Disney songs in any Disney sequel ever. But she's like the lady of Scar essentially, and she is what?
Doesn't who plays her in the live action movie or like the John Favreau one? She's not one of the 398.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, she means a character from the sequel, the direct-to-video Lion King.
Mrs. Scar. Okay.
Yeah, but the point is, she's funny, she's dark, she's also conniving, she's really funny, and she is the one with all the best quips, and she's a fighter as well. And I feel like, let's be honest, if who's probably arguably one of the most quippiest people on the screen, it's that lady with the choker. Let's be honest.
I'm going to say something right here, which is I'm disappointed in all of you for not mentioning Ursula. I am very often referred to as a sea witch or something else that begins with the letter C, and sounds like something like that. Sea witch is definitely.
I don't feel like you have Ursula. And
really?
I would say Maleficent before.
In the past, they called me a witch. I literally have bottles of potion here.
Well, I know I picked a different witch character that I think speaks to you more.
I agree with all of these, and I hardly endorse all of them. I will watch The Lion King too, just to see like what kind of theme. I mean, I could just be regular Scar. I also feel very Scar vibes, but I don't think I'm as cool as Scar. Like
I have.
To be honest,
is it like cool to be a Nazi?
Like no one, but also low key, no one's actually as cool as Scar. Hey lady, Miss Movies herself is dropping in the chat to say hi, but also she's like one of the baddest babes when it comes to Disney and animated and family movies in general. Let's be honest.
Drop the link to these movies. See if she's up.
That's true. Yeah. She is like, oh my gosh, her going through any though she's like, obviously it's this, and I'm like, how do you know that? Overall, okay, Abby. What am I?
Okay, I was thinking about this. I have two for you. I have Franny Robinson from Meet the Robinsons.
Girl.
Yes. I feel like you just have that iconic energy, that like motherly energy, but like still a badass, you know? So that's Franny. And then also you give me like just good Jasmine vibes as well. That's what I was thinking.
I was going to say,
I dig it. I'm here for it.
A little bit of an Anna from Frozen, like Drew is behind the door and you're like, we got to do the show. It's about time. Where are you?
That's on point.
Let's go we got to build a snowman. A little bit of that kind of.
Yeah. Come on, let's go record.
Exactly. And for Abby, I
haven't seen you in a week.
And it could be more of just a physical resemblance.
She's doing the whole thing. She's got the whole thing.
For Abby, I was thinking, what is it, Riley, the girl whose brain we're in and Inside Out?
Oh, you went Pixar with this?
I went Pixar.
Yeah. Go.
Riley is a good choice.
Riley?
I was not told no Pixar.
I was thinking Tangled for Abby.
Like, there's a reason for that.
Not just the hair.
There's definitely a reason.
I just like I like her whole energy. I feel like that's another character I could be is like the witch in Tangled, like Mother Knows Best.
Oh yes, right.
I was also gonna say you give me the Mother in Enchanted vibes.
Oh my god, who was that?
Okay. Are you talking about the stepmother?
Yes.
Miss it's played by Susan Sarandon.
You were right.
Yes.
You got that one.
They just asked in the Schmoedown, what is her name? What is her character's name?
I bet they did. And did someone say it correctly, like I would right now, giving you blah 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 the correct answer?
Yeah. I forget what it was. Am I making that up? I think it was in a live event. There's too many questions in my brain.
Yeah, it might have been. I can't keep it.
But I'm actually having trouble with this. I'm having trouble with Alex's. I'm having trouble with it. Do I think of you? I almost want to say like you've got this kind of Lumiere energy. Like you are definitely like the person. I don't mean this like in a bad way. I mean this like you're the person that's like, hey, what's up? Welcome to the castle. I run like all the podcasts. So on Tuesdays we do this, here's the thing, and just be our guest. Like you're just like, you know, like be our guest. We got the food and we got
call to action. We got cinema bias.
Like Mrs. Potts.
No, so on point. It hurts.
Welcome to the Action Army. Here's your coin. Here's your this. Here's that. Don't bother the people. They get really angry and they will yell at you and you will run away to the wolves. Don't bother Drew and Ben because on their 21st birthday, they are going to have to remain like that forever. So instead, be our guest. Be our guest. And then like you're not even mad about being a candle. That metaphor just fell apart, but you know.
It's unfortunate. Be Our Guest is by far one of my favorite songs of Beauty and the Beast. Quiz question. Yeah. What song from Beauty and the Beast won an Oscar for Best Original Song?
I'm gonna guess that it was See, I want to say
3 were nominated for Best Original Song.
Oh, Beauty and the Beast. But
That was what I was gonna guess too.
make sure that Alex is right this time. Because
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that-
Okay.
I'm Beauty and the Beast.
I'm just gonna say Beauty and the Beast.
Okay, so let me just double check. Last time I saw because I remember I was putting together. Okay, so 2 Oscars, one being Best Original Song, but let's see. Yeah, it was nominated for 3 songs, and it won one. It won one.
So it would probably won for Beauty and the Beast. It would also have been nominated for Be Our Guest, and it would have also been nominated for. Let me give it the third
I'm still
one.
looking it up.
No, sorry, let me try to think of the third one I've been nominated for. Not Gaston. Not Kill the Beast. Would it be like Little Town? Yeah, I guess so. I guess it because it's not going to be the reprise, which is just like, yeah, it would have to be. Hold on, did she get like another song that I'm missing?
It is Belle.
Oh, okay. So it's like the opening song.
Mhm.
It's funny because
So
NerdChronic doesn't like that song because he says it's just all people talking to each other. And he just hi,
I
hello.
like
No. It Belle and I guess were nominated.
That's what she
Beauty
said.
and the Beast won.
that's what she said.
Oh, sorry. Never mind.
that one won, but Be Our Guest and Belle were nominated. So
Right.
3 songs total were nominated, but one of them won.
Have you guys watched that Howard Ashman
I
documentary?
just watched it last week.
It's incredible, but I couldn't believe it's like there's a scene where Menken and Ashman basically just show up and do a presentation of like, here's Aladdin, like, and they've written the songs and they're acting it out.
Aladdin or?
No, I know Aladdin, and then Jeffrey Katzenberg is like, I don't like this, it's bad, and puts them on Beauty and the Beast, and like right away they just write all of these other, like they were midstream on doing a whole other thing, and then they just like came up with Be Our Guest, like, I guess we'll do this now.
Well,
it's like,
can I be honest?
what? How? What?
Because they're so good at doing it. Man.
That's crazy.
Look, they little shop of horrors. I mean, they're good at getting.
That's bonkers.
You know why? Because they have a certain kind of sensibility. That's definitely like a town. They're definitely like like you think of Skid Row.
Yeah, no, you can
think
totally
of, like,
tell that
Little
they
Town.
took what they were doing for Aladdin and then like funneled it into this new project. It's just incredible. Like,
think about the opening of like all 3 movies. It is literally all 3 are like crowd. They're like like one's jumping it. It's like da da da. Think about Skid Row. Like downtown.
downtown.
It's
That's your home of
and then you think of Little Town. It's like
you're definitely right. I'm just still like
They got a
in
shtick.
friggin' awe of what those 2 guys were able to do. Like in a month.
Where am I sitting? Where am I sitting?
Yeah, let's be honest though, when it comes to this, I mean, I think we can all recognize that Disney has some of the most iconic, weird, fun characters in cinema history. I mean, let's be honest. So definitely one of the most iconic, characters. Like you can whip up the genie, and everyone from here to Istanbul to Timbuktu is gonna know who the genie is. From Aladdin. I feel like it. I do. I remember going. Yeah, I remember going. I feel like I remember being in China, and I had like a T-shirt and that was referencing something Disney, and I had like random people come up to be like, "Oh, this movie," and I was like, "Oh, okay." But we're going to be putting this movie in particular into contest. Actually, right there, we're going to be asking, does it hold up? How does it hold up against not only Disney Renaissance, but Disney as a whole overall?
And culture.
So, and culture. Yeah, sure.
And
absolutely.
It's a big we have a new one. I mean, geez, there's so much to talk about with this specific question that usually is kind of like, does it hold up? And we're like, yes, no. This we have a lot to talk about because there is a new movie where they were like, let's address some of this stuff. I haven't seen it yet. Lon has. So I imagine there's still going to be some problematic elements in this movie.
There are still some problematic elements in a different way. I don't think it is quite leaning on sort of Chinese cultural stereotypes in America as much as the animated one. But it does develop, like there is a Gong Li plays a female witch character who's aligned with the bad guys. Is like weird and problematic to me in a totally new and fresh, interesting way. That's different from the old movie.
Could you get Janine? I'm sorry. I'm like more the merrier.
I'm open.
Janine.
But I would say the context. The context of this is interesting because does it hold up? Like, yes, because it is a product of its time, which is something that it was trying to be progressive. Right. So like in that way, in the way that it broke from Disney traditions, she isn't a princess. She's a warrior. That's the arc of the film. So the way that like maybe there shouldn't be like a Sultan of Agrabah. fine. But this movie was actually like saying like, you know, a woman, female warrior, like this was progressive. So it does hold up for what it was at the time. Now, what does it stand as something you want to like show your kids today as like representation of how you should treat issues about gender and all the stuff? Like, no, but like nothing really does. Most sketch shows, most sketch comedies are just like guys wearing dresses. And, you know, a lot of things are problematic in retrospect.
Yeah, I mean, this was also a moment where we went from even the like strong female protagonists in previous Disney movies, they basically still get like rescued at the end. Like Beauty and the Beast, Jasmine, Little Mermaid. They're not
Anna.
No, I mean, and Mulan was kind of one of those moments where that shifted. She's the hero. She is saving herself at the end. She saves China. It's not Li Shang jumping in at the last second to save her. She's doing it herself. And that did become the trend as you keep going.
Sorry, did Hunchback come out after this?
Yes. I believe Hunchback was after this.
I thought it came out before.
Hunchback is 96.
Okay,
Yeah,
where
it
does
came out before. But Esmeralda, she was rescued by Quasimodo at the very end.
Right.
Yes.
But like this Mulan was like
Little
the
Mermaid.
beginning of that era where that sort of
Little Mermaid,
started.
she saves him. She saves Eric, right? Eric doesn't get the spear, and he's the one who's about to die, right? She saves Eric, right?
But he kills Ursula.
Right.
Right, but he doesn't. She like, but he does like. She isn't saved by him. Like she like helps him out, right?
I mean, she contributes to the victory, but I believe it is still at heart. It's still Prince Eric undoes the curse, and that's what saves.
Yeah. I really like Maleficent. I really like. I mean, I'm sorry, but I really do like that retelling of Maleficent as much as I love Wicked, as much as I love all these things, because I very much just identify as Disney villains. Every single Disney movie, for the most part, is like me doing that thing where it's like movie villain versus like actual villain, except for like Fern Gully, where the villain is global warming. Tim Curry.
If we want to talk about the sexiest movie villain, we're gonna whip that one out real quick.
Right?
Oh my gosh! Like, oh my! I think no, it's not like we're like the voice. No, the voice himself. Like, it's like
who?
Like in the Fern Gully, the villain is like Sludge, but it's like the sexy jazzy voice, and you're like, it's so charismatic. It's like slime, you know. He's like doing a whole thing, but
down like egg chow mein skies.
It's Tim Curry, dude. So he can do no wrong, you know, in my eyes. So you know, putting into context, real quickly, I do want to kind of focus on Abby a little bit. Now, I know you said this came out when you were -1. It kind of hit you like you saw a bunch of these movies together for the first time. What was the first Disney film that you remember seeing that really kind of kicked off the love for Disney, or the love for, you know, the animated genre, or whatever it may be for you at the time?
Follow-up question: what was the first one you saw in theaters? Because I want to feel really old.
Okay, for me, my love for Disney isn't, it's tied to the movies, but it's also tied to the parks. That's just kind of, it's basic, but
no, it's not. It's what it's supposed to do.
Yes.
Bring Baby Yoda. Show them what it's supposed to do. They will probably get it.
So I love Aladdin because I have just like a special memory with like Aladdin the first time I went to Disney World. But, and then to answer your question, the first movie I saw in theaters was The Incredibles.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that would have been, I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
That must have been so cool.
Yeah.
Were you like obsessed with it?
Yes. And I
obsessed.
And I have 2 younger brothers, so it was very like, that's my life. But yeah, sorry to make y'all feel old.
Now I'm trying to think now what mine would have been.
Maybe like an American Tail.
Is an American Tail Disney?
No.
That's Dumb Bluth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the first one I remember seeing was with my grandmother to see The Little Mermaid, but I think that was just, you know, because it was
that
so
would have been, you would only have been like 5 or 6.
What year were you born?
I remember afterwards my grandmother going, like, making me look at all her, she had pretty jewelry. She goes, look, I have so much like pretty jewelry. Do I remind you of anybody in that movie? And I'm like, yeah, it's like Ursula, very clearly. Like, you got all these things. And that was not the answer she was looking for. And I was not allowed to have ice cream on the way home. But I was like,
oh my God.
Who else has a lot of jewelry? In
also,
that movie?
I guess because of her thing, we got Bob's or whatever. But also, I'm
She
like,
doesn't wear jewelry.
in my head, I was just so confused about why I was getting punished because I was like, you want to be Ariel? Like, she's not a witch.
That's true.
She doesn't have powers. What'd she do? She can't steal anyone's voice. I didn't. So when I say that I want to be a Disney princess, I mean like very, very like even as a child, my paradigm of like which character I'm supposed to be was not aligned with a chaotic.
You could have got out. You could have been like, no, like sexy Ursula at the end.
Yeah, like
she
me.
Makes herself look look
sexy
right.
Ursula. No, but I don't want to look like Ariel. I don't want to fall into her like paradigm of what sexiness looks like. No.
What about Vanessa?
Ooh, Vanessa?
That's Ursula when she transforms into the hot lady with purple hair.
Not into it. I'm into like
She doesn't have purple hair. What? She has black hair.
No, she has brown hair.
Yeah, like blackish brown hair.
All right, never mind.
According to all the
purple hair
I've ever watched, no, Ursula's the sexiest when she has the tentacles. And
okay, fine.
And I like them.
Correct.
And when she was playing Mercedes on Broadway, like Mercedes from Glee, like that is Ursula. That's like Queen Ursula. That is mwah, chef's kiss. Yeah, I guess we always go back to the most sexual of whatever Disney characters that Drew's feeling this week. I guess this week's is Ursula. But
she is incredibly. She's definitely one of the most. She is definitely by far one of those sexually confident Disney characters overall.
Oh yeah,
she's just like the entire time. She's like,
She's the only one who actually seems to know what humans do. Like everyone else, like it's her and the crab. It's her and Sebastian. Everyone else is like, what do? You kiss? Do you bump noses? And she's like, nah, body language. You kiss the woman.
Yes.
Yes, I got mega offended about said hair color. Okay, as someone that like looked at Vanessa and thought she looked like me, I was very excited about Vanessa. I loved Vanessa. I thought she was a bad bee in town with her long, dark, cool hair. I thought she was so cool, and then I realized she was like a bad guy, but I still really liked her at the same time.
Wait, it's the like Rachel Silvestrini when she did the cosplay. It's like white. It's like a white shock of, and like she wears purple.
No, Vanessa. No, but when she's in human form as Vanessa, she has long dark hair though.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where
that's all I was about. But
I'm
okay.
very sorry.
Can I have a quick question about Little Mermaid?
Very offended, Lon.
Did she want it? Did Vanessa like want to get Ariel's voice because she wanted to marry Prince Eric? No, she wanted the voice so she could like make him renege on the deal so she could become Queen of the Ocean.
Yes.
That is baller. She's like, I'm not looking to become a wife of some like puny ass land prince. Like that is not of interest to me.
It's like a revenge thing, right?
Not even revenge.
She was just trying to make sure that Ariel didn't get with Eric.
Exactly.
Right.
She wanted to be Queen of the Ocean. She didn't want no husband. She didn't want no she wanted to be Queen of the Ocean. And I don't know what happened between her and the King Titan or whatever, but like clearly Triton. King Triton. Sorry, excuse me. King Triton, made up person, doesn't really matter his name because he's made up.
They're all made up.
Yeah, well, Ursula though, whatever happened between her and King Triton, I don't know if we ever get the backstory there, but they clearly have some bad blood. I think they probably used to bone. And
they're
this is like
supposedly siblings
in the musical. They're siblings.
Yeah, and this
also
also
in the draft, I believe.
Yeah, and this I thought in the sequels they addressed that they're siblings.
So one of them turns into like.
I could be wrong. Maybe I'm misremembering that.
In the Little Mermaid 2, girl plays her sister.
So in the past, she was a nasty. She was a witch. But you think she always had the tentacles, which means different dads. Or different dads, I'm assuming.
Well, she's a witch. She can do whatever she wanted. I mean, she could have been a hyena walking around at the bottom of the ocean if she wanted to.
She's not half mermaid. I mean, sorry, she's not a mermaid. She's a literal half. She's something we've never seen before. She's half octopi, which means that I'm assuming, unless she's like the shape-shifting badger and hello magic after, and she just prefers to be a squid.
I mean, maybe it's a spell. Like we don't know.
I don't think it's a spell. I think it's literally her being like, "This is like who I am. This is whatever." And they were just like, "Yeah, witch, burn her, kill her," and she had to learn how to be a witch because she had tentacles. And I really relate to Ursula.
Well, I feel like we can have an entire episode specifically on Cinema Bios, just really diving into each and every one of the awesome, amazing, our favorite Disney, villains overall. I feel like that's a huge conversation in and of itself. And also commenting how Abby's like really quick to be like, girl, let me tell you what's up. I see you with those little clapbacks real quick. So I was like here for it. Okay. So for our last segment though, we are going to be diving into real quickly. We're going to ask the very simple question. We have touched on it a little bit already, but just bone dry, just just to simplify it, I think we should start with Mulan. In a nutshell, don't have to go into like, we don't have to go into like 50 another, like, yeah, we don't have to go into a huge off topic or anything about it, but does it hold up? Does it hold up for you?
I think it does. I think that it's the comedy that sometimes does not work as well. I sort of would wish, looking back, I wish that there was a little bit less jokiness. But when the songs are still great, I think, and when it's focused on Mulan's core story and the action, I think it's still a great movie representative of this era of sort of peak Disney. I definitely think Mulan holds up.
I have a 5-pointer for Abby.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if maybe we want to wait to the end, but I do have a 5-pointer for Abby.
About this movie?
About Disney. Well, about animated.
Okay.
So I can wait till later.
These are films that are hand-drawn or done by a computer.
Alex, what do you think? Do you think it holds up?
I personally think it does in a lot of ways. Again, like I said earlier, it's not a perfect film. It's clearly has, there's jokes. There's a lot of jokes regarding transphobia, which, definitely does not age well. It's also kind of really iffy how it centers on a woman that's dressing like a man in order to do in her eyes her duty, but at the same time it's shaming men, or it's making fun of men that also do the same thing, dressing in women's clothing or taking on a female identity, temporary or long term. Or so anyway, it's kind of like that's kind of iffy. But again, I think it's a beautiful movie. Also, I think a lot of the big strengths regarding Mulan's character in particular, I feel like that ages well. And so I would be excited for anyone to watch that movie and be like, she's awesome. So I feel like that's the real big takeaway from the movie.
Have either of you seen the new remake yet? Or like, are you looking forward to seeing the remake?
I have watched it.
What were your thoughts?
I think that the stuff that Alex just pointed out about Mulan was important, and that kind of did hold up in the remake. But at the same time, and I don't know a lot about Chinese folklore and like stuff with how I don't know a lot about the Chinese culture. And there was a thing that they call the qi that gives Mulan her strength. Like in the one that we're talking about, she rises to the occasion and blends in with the men and makes a man out of herself. But in this one, she from the beginning is stronger than everyone, and there's no journey there, because that she is almost magical in a sense. But I don't know if that is more, I don't know the word I'm trying to say, but I don't know if that is more normal in that culture to like have like, if that's something that they know more about and that's not as weird for them as someone who is an American watching
Definitely
that.
not. Yeah.
Yeah, well, London thought about this.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I had the same thought when I was watching it. And I also didn't really like that there are shots of Mulan as a young girl, and she's already like training to fight. Like she wanted to be a soldier from a young age. And it plays really odd, because the whole point of her going to war is not, finally, I get to go to war like I've been preparing for
it's not like she wants
my
to be a
whole
rabbi.
life.
Yeah.
It's, I have to do this to save my father. This is for my family. It's a sacrifice. And I feel like you kind of undercut that when you ever be, she's a naturally gifted warrior, and this is like what she was always meant to do.
I don't know. I'll have to see the film. I thought you were going to say something different about the chi aspect of it, which.
I mean, they also like it's sort of a nuanced idea of what chi means in terms of like Eastern medicine and whatever, and then they just kind of make it like power level. Like her chi is at a 12 and his is only at a 4.
Well,
and
it was very midi-chlorian.
Like her, she's blocked because she's guilty.
No, it's not even any of that. I mean, there is some of that too.
I thought
but
that's
like,
what you're talking about.
Yeah, like there is also a thing, and Abby, I'm curious if you picked up on this too. It's weirdly like this. The live action movie makes a much bigger deal out of like Mulan needs to feel badly and guilty about lying. Like people are always like, well, a great soldier is truthful and doesn't ever lie. And yes, that like you'd be even more powerful if you didn't have to carry this lie. And it's like, that's a weird thing to make her feel guilty about. It's not her fault.
No, is there ever a Captain Marvel moment or a Dark Phoenix moment or something where it's like, but her emotions Like, because I hate that beat in every fucking thing.
It's sort of not as on the nose as Captain Marvel, but there is that idea of like
Captain Marvel did it well, I think.
When
she no longer has to lie, she does reach a new level of power that she didn't tap into before.
But it's not like her woman emotions made her like too powerful.
It's never addressed like that. But Lon, I definitely agree, and I think something weird about that whole arc is that it's forgiven very quickly.
Right.
Like she's given shit for the whole movie for not being truthful, but then and they're mad at her, and then they're almost immediately like, "Oh, just kidding, come back."
Yeah, she shows up with this one piece of information before they even know if it's true.
Yeah,
just like, "Welcome back, you're the greatest."
Well,
welcome back, And
in the movie that we're talking about, they don't even believe her. Like she has to go to the emperor herself and still try to fight them, but they are like, "Oh, you know what? You're probably right. Let's go."
But it sounds like a lot more like this is how mythology works, though, which is like the moment that you personally resolve your demon, uncover your thing, then like everyone else is able to tell and able to.
There was a bit of that. I don't know. It felt weirdly like she's basically doing the right thing all along. Like
she always is.
There isn't right, and yet there is all this weird plot stuff about how she's got to overcome this. Like she's a liar, and it's like she's not a liar. They'll murder her. Like it's not a choice.
Her dad was going to die.
Yeah, like it was her dad dies or she dies or she continue with this lie. Like that's not really making that. That doesn't mean you're a liar.
Well, yeah. Doesn't her pants are on fire?
I mean, her pants are on fire for much of the film.
Now, can we? I think it holds up. I also think, though, the one thing that really doesn't, besides Harvey Fierstein, because oh my god, what was he doing in that movie? But secondly, I don't know if the Donny Osmond thing is going to always stick in my craw. Such a great song. If you want Donny Osmond to do it, fine. Get him to be the villain. Like because you're going to have like a white guy sing it no matter what it sounds like. So fine. To make it the villain song. I do not like the idea of B.D. Wong, Broadway Tony Award-winning actor who had won for musicals already. M. Butterfly was just shunted off to the side because they assumed that his voice wouldn't be good enough. It's not like he was doing the Michael Bolton song cover for he wasn't doing the radio edit, right? That's just him singing.
I don't know the answer to this, but
I don't know why he.
I don't know why they would do that. My assumption is just they wanted the person singing the track to be a celebrity.
Yeah, but
singer.
Roger Bart was not a celebrity when. So here's the connection: Roger Bart and B.D. Wong. When I was 12 years old, I went to go see a touring production of "You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown" that ended up winning a lot of awards. Because
public?
No, it was not the public. It was in the Wilmington, Delaware repertoire theater. But I went to go see it because Anthony Rapp from Rent was playing Charlie Brown, and I was obsessed with Anthony Rapp. My first Instant Messenger name was Rap Girl, and the cast included.
Oh my God.
We're very confused.
That's so on brand.
There was Kristen Chenoweth, B. Wong, Roger Bart, and Anthony Rapp, and two other major people who would come on. It might as well have been Idina Menzel. It was just major players that went around to this touring cast of it. And Roger Bart gets to be the singing voice of Hercules. They get not famous Tate Donovan and then not famous Roger Bart.
None of us have a good, satisfying answer for you.
I'm very angry. Also,
I didn't even know B.D. Wong sang until the stream.
Oh yeah, no, he's a Tony Award winning. He's a great singer.
Yeah, he was actually really well known for doing a lot of different things, from Madame Butterfly, Miss Saigon, doing a lot of really great productions. Okay, so he has a, oh my gosh, he's a beautiful voice. It's crazy. But also I feel bad because my first experience with B.D. Wong wasn't this movie. It was with him as Doink Doink, Law and Order. I can't help it. I see him and I'm like, doink doink. I can't help it. I'm like, I've seen him in Jurassic Park. I've seen it, or I've heard him in this. I've seen him in a whole bunch of movies. But I just naturally think of Law and Order. I can't help it.
He's the only he's the only thing that Jurassic Park keeps. Not to go on a Wong tangent as I am want to do, so I am reading, by the way, his Wikia, and it does say that he is the only actor to be honored with a Tony Award, a Drama Desk Award, Outer Critics Circle Award, Clarence Derwent Award, and Theater Award. He's basically the EGOT version of a theater guy. He's won every single thing.
It's also I think probably I first recognized him or knew him from Father
The
of the
Bride,
Bride,
when he's
and
in
this
the
the sequel.
Yeah.
When he was, like Martin
Party
Short.
pooper. Every party has a pooper. In this case, it's you, George Banks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I like that movie? Maybe. Whatever. We
Yeah.
are going to be going in. We are going to be going into our final thing today. We are clocking it at almost an hour and 20 minutes. So thank you so much for hanging out with us today. So thank you for everyone in the chat. We really, really appreciate it. You guys are amazing. And thanks for everyone that stopped by along the way. Abby, and Lon, obviously. Lon, you're amazing in every single way. I wish you're just casually around all the time for some advice. I really do. And Abby.
Oh, he is.
I mean,
I make him leave most of the time, assuming that he
A
doesn't.
lot of the time I'm like, I better go.
It's always a treat having you here. But Abby, my lovely, our very own Disney Rapunzel situation. I love it. It's so here for it. We are going to be wrapping it up here pretty soon, but also I kind of want to, I want to know from you real quickly. This is kind of like, I don't want to say an embarrassing segment of, of Cinema Bias, but we want to know from you, what are some major movies, massive movies, that you are ashamed to say that you have not seen? For example, I have not seen any movie from the Lethal Weapon franchise or Beverly Hills Cop or RoboCop.
I guess it's pretty clear about me.
So it's totally up to you. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can go in as much or as little detail as you want.
I do have a lot of those movies. I'm still catching up. I don't want to reveal too much just because I don't want.
Of course.
Because I
am
ready.
mystery about stalking you online to try to figure out what you were watching.
Yeah, I don't want people to totally know. But my biggest one is either Fight Club. Or I have not seen The Godfather Part 2. I've only seen the first one.
Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, so you probably
cool.
think The Godfather is just like okay. The Godfather is actually great.
I have seen The Godfather 1 twice, and I really love it. And I can't wait to watch the second one. I've been meaning
the second one's better.
I don't know if I agree that the second one.
Okay, but well, that's definitely an argument for the future. If we ever get to a Godfather Part 2 episode, just saying, Abby, we would love to have you on and really kind of force you to watch that. But also, we can have that solid argument. We can make that. Yeah, we can have that Lon versus Abby or Lon versus Drew or something.
I want to hear what movie.
Wow, movie I haven't seen. There's got to be some.
It's like Menace to Society. Right?
I've seen Menace to Society. I just forgot that there was a guy named O-Dog.
Okay.
Give me a break.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's O-Dog?
That was my 5-point question that Paul and I missed. Was this 1993 crime
I don't know,
film
dog. What's up with you?
Features characters named Kane and O-Dog.
Hey.
And we guessed Juice. It's Menace to Society. I felt very silly, but I have seen Menace to Society before.
Yeah. What would you say? What was one of the ones you haven't seen?
I'm trying to think of a big enough movie to mention here on this
I'm not even
show.
big enough for you. I would even just go artsy. Like what's something you're embarrassed to have not seen? Like have you not seen like a Lynch or
Metropolis?
Metropolis.
1927.
There's
I
a
don't think
lot.
I've seen one David Lynch movie.
If we go back to silent films, then sure, there's a ton. But but Metropolis. But I mean, if we went back there, there's a lot of like 40s and 50s things. A lot of the classic musicals. I love musicals, but there are a lot of classic musicals I haven't seen, like Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
Yeah, the movie's so good.
Or like a lot of the Greatest Show on Earth, or like there's a lot of that era of movie. Like I don't even know if I've seen the theatrical Music Man, but I don't think I've seen the movie The Music Man.
I'm not giving up weight.
And then we discovered Bedknobs and Broomsticks, that classic Disney one I've never seen.
Oh yeah, that's weird. It's weird that he hasn't seen Bedknobs and Broomsticks. If you like Sword in the Stone, you like Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Well, there you go. So if once you go back that far, there's a lot of stuff.
You've seen every single movie that's like a big deal movie.
Well, I mean, I don't know. There's probably something.
You've seen all the Jodorowsky movies. You've seen like Magic. You probably have.
I think I've seen most of the available Jodorowskys.
Sorry.
Wait. I have a quiz. I have a quiz question for you both.
For me?
Oh, coming in hot here for you both. Yeah, you guys are both the trivia people here. How many? List as many musicals as you can that have won Best Picture Oscars.
Okay. So wait. So I'm gonna write mine down. I've got a board.
Oh well. Okay.
hold on.
Are we writing them down?
Yep.
Okay.
Sure. No cheating. No cheating off each other.
Wait, I don't get to write it. All right. I'll wait for Drew, and then I'll go first, and then she can. Wow, I am sort of drawing a blank here. Okay.
Always
Oh,
testing
girl.
them, making sure that they're in shape.
Okay, so you go.
I mean, Chicago for sure. West Side Story. I believe. I want to say, did Oliver win Best Picture, or am I?
I don't know.
making
Did
up?
it, Lon?
I think it did. I'm going to say Oliver. What's another musical that won Best Picture? I feel like there's a recent one that I'm blanking.
Oh, is it
on.
La La
This is
Land?
a
Are
big
you trying to say
one.
La La Land?
Not La La Land.
Damn it.
I know it's not
I
La
was
La
trying to make you
Land.
fall into a trap.
Sound of Music.
For
Yeah.
best movie?
Yeah, that one Best Picture.
Is that? Let's Google that real quick.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
I
West
thought
Side
I
Story.
only that.
Is,
Well,
is
That's-
that your final answer?
oh,
Yeah, that's
Disney,
all I've got.
Does Disney count?
Yeah, Disney would count, right? But
Disney's never.
Oh,
Disney's
no.
never won.
Not Best Picture. They also, we can't forget American in Paris.
Oh,
That was covered on Cinema Bias.
we have
1956, baby. One of my favorite musicals of all time. That is just
Even though I definitely have it on my list because we definitely watched it for this this show, so I definitely wrote that
But there's
down.
a lot, like I haven't seen Funny Girl, I haven't seen Gigi. Like there's a lot of that era of musicals that I've just
Cabaret?
missed. I've seen
Okay,
Cabaret.
So overall, there's My Fair Lady.
Right.
Obviously, An American in Paris, Chicago, Oliver, Going My Way, Gigi, The Great Ziegfeld, and Broadway Melody.
Broadway. now.
Wait, are those musicals or are those dance movies?
No, those are all
well,
musicals.
yeah, well, it's like American in Paris is arguably a dance movie and a musical.
What
It
about
is-
Singing in the Rain? Did that win Best Picture?
I
No.
don't think in the Rain
No,
one. I
it
don't know.
didn't.
Well, I put down West
It's a
Side.
musical.
I would put down West Side Story in Chicago, so I thought I was being very clever, and the answer was 2. So nope for Drew. I also started writing La La Land, and I was like, haha, no, that's a trap.
Okay, yeah. So, I do want to mention, I forgot, I didn't extend it all. Okay, so West Side Story, Sound of Music, obviously. My Fair Lady, which I mentioned. There's Chicago, Oliver, Going My Way. I think, did I mention all of them? Gigi, The Great Ziegfeld, Broadway Melody. I think that's it, now that I think about it. I thought I was missing one, but yeah, that's it.
Okay,
So there are
but
10.
that's not a musical.
It did not win Best Picture, and it's not a musical.
Just kidding.
Which one? Ziegfeld Follies?
No, I
No,
said
it's just saying Whiplash. but
Uh,
there's a
movie.
lot a lot of double time swing in that one. but-
Question for Abby.
Yes.
What famous, I wouldn't say famous, but what famous character voice actor lent his singing talents to both Rasputin and parts of Scar?
Jim Cummings.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a really good
In
one.
the middle of the
I
night, we will find
I
her.
was sure my entire life, up until a couple months ago, I was like, that was definitely Christopher Lloyd singing. That's definitely Christopher Lloyd singing. To find out, A, that wasn't Christopher Lloyd singing, and B, halfway through, Jeremy Irons blew out his voice on You Won't Get a Sniff Without Me. And so Jim Cummings just jumped in and was like, I guess I'll go from being a hyena to being Scar. And it's seamless, like you can't tell. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Definitely a huge talent. But guys, that we're kind of wrapping it up here today. I do want to let you guys know we don't technically have a movie picked out for next Tuesday. Unfortunately, we're still trying to finalize it. But Drew, is there any updates from our patron?
So yeah, so we're trying. This is a patron going to be week. It is I think I'm just cool to say it. It's a pick from AA Ron, so I just need to swing back with him because I know he's been really busy doing some other stuff. So I want to make sure that he's around and avails. But then if it is AA Ron, then we will be doing Beverly Hills Cop next week,
Nice.
which is a movie that
Oh,
it's really
You'll
fun.
like
You'll
it.
really like
Come
it.
on.
It's pretty good. I know.
I'm just being difficult. Surprise.
Yes.
Yes.
It's supposed to be
About
I'm
one
excited, yeah.
in particular.
supposed to be a potato.
I know.
Also, that
I read about this.
one of those
somewhere.
famous things. I do want to talk real quick, or at least have Alex talk, or maybe we should do that for the plugs, about something very cool that we've started up. Really cool cinema bias thing that I'm really excited to talk about. But maybe we should we do the plugs first. Let everyone else go.
Yeah. Absolutely. And as we're going to start with our guest, our lovely, we're going to start with our guest, Abby, obviously, then we're going to go to Lon, then go to Drew, then myself. So go ahead, beautiful.
Y'all can follow me at Abigail Freel on everything and at my Patreon, patreon.com/Abigail Freel.
Abby, do you like to go by Abigail when I like write it out on social? Like, are you?
No, I just I couldn't get Abby Freel on everything, so that's why I'm Abigail. But I do like to go by Abby. So
Okay, cool. Want to make sure.
yeah.
And what about you, Lonster?
Just follow me on Twitter at LONS. That's I'll post any silly thing I'm doing on there. That's the best place.
Okay, he's not gonna like name it. He Alon does work for, can I say Honest Trailers?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
Alon does the Honest Trailers, so he writes a lot of them. So if you look up,
there's 4 of us and we collaborate on all the Honest Trailers.
so when the Mulan one comes out, just be aware.
At some point, I wouldn't say right away.
Yeah, I mean you haven't started bringing it. I don't know. But like, yeah, no, he did the one for the boys that just came out, and I've already said this on Facebook. Like, you can hear Lon's voice, like you can hear Lon's voice and like the jokes. It's really cool.
Sometimes I get one through.
Yeah, it's really good.
All super cops are bastards on the boys.
The Mean Girls one was amazing. That was so good. Okay, so that's what he does, and otherwise you can find him here. Like,
you can find me on this couch.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's crashing here forever. And there's a dog. Me. I'm VideoDrew. You can find me no longer playing in the singles tournament, although I still think I have a chance of winning on something we love called the Movie Trivia Schmoedown, like getting Drew for the upset of 2020. I had a match last week against Mark Yoda O'Reilly. Like, honestly, look, gentlemen, it was a good game, and I lost it for myself. So I'm still, I'm still trying to like motivate and keep training for that. You can find me over my Patreon, which is patreon.com/VideoDrew. You can find me at everything where /VideoDrew, like everywhere. But my schedule is Monday and Thursdays right here. We do the VideoChronic pop culture quiz. This Thursday, we're doing the Godzilla movies, starting with like was it 2014 one?
Oh, okay. So right. Godzilla, Kong, Skull Island, and then King of the Monsters.
Yeah, and there's one more, isn't it? Yeah, no, maybe those 3. So
it's going to be, but not yet.
Okay, so we're doing those 3. NerdChronic, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought there was 4th. We're doing those 3 movies canonically. We're gonna have Alex Robinson on. I'm sure if we get the word out, PJ would maybe start at least being in the comment section for that, because we know he's a big Godzilla head. I'm a big Godzilla head. I love Standing Up Lizard. Love him and his best friend Moth Lady and the dinosaur.
I got to go.
Yeah, and him versus King Donkey Kong is gonna be a good movie. I know all the things about them now and all their friends. It sounds awesome. So Tuesdays I'm here doing Cinema Bias with Alex Mack, my beautiful friend here. Wednesdays is my sort of grab bag day. Sometimes I do movie watch-alongs on Twitch. Sometimes we do study sessions. Tomorrow we actually have something really cool that I'm excited to announce, which is that tomorrow at 3 p.m. It's going to be I'm thinking of ending things, a Kaufman-esque conversation between myself, Lon, Sabrina Ramirez, and NerdChronic. We're going to be talking about the new movie out on Netflix with Jesse Plemons. Incredible film. So please tune into that. It's not something I've ever done before. It's like host a roundtable about Charlie Kaufman, but it does seem very on brand for me. So yeah, I'm very excited to like. It's gonna be good. If you guys haven't seen it yet, it's amazing. Check it out. On Fridays I do video karaoke, which is awesome until January anyway. So that starts at 8 p.m. Saturday is another grab bag day. Sometimes I do what they call now I finally got my PlayStation, so I can actually do Twitch like normal people. I can do Jackpot Party Game, blah blah blah. Sunday 9 p.m. live in the dark with VideoDrew. Abby's been on. Lon's
that's a fun show.
Yeah, Lon's now a consultant on it. We're gearing up for a guest this week. It's just getting like, it's so much fun. It's like Space Ghost meets Between Two Ferns. It's all VideoDrew. So if you like that, that's the show for you.
Yeah, it's the most VideoDrew show of all the videos.
It is, yeah.
It's the only one. Yeah. So Alex, what about yourself?
I'm going to keep it short and sweet, guys. You can find me right here. You can find me hosting a show called Schmoebates. It's my Schmoedown themed debate show. I host over at Call to Action. I work really hard to make it a fun process, for everyone involved, for sure, where we have sometimes fans, sometimes Schmoedown competitors, personalities in general, reactors, all that good stuff, come on, debate and argue to the death, pretty much on, whipping out some really great debates over there. It's real fun. So so yeah, I know Drew has come on. Lon, I know we're looking to getting on pretty soon. Abby, I don't know if technically you can or can't, as someone that's doing questions and stuff for Schmoedown. So I don't know, because I've been told you can technically, but you have to be like really careful about it. But I could be wrong.
I mean, Christian does it, right? Because the questions aren't about the shit, like about movie trivia. The questions are about Schmoedown, right?
Yeah.
I
think I could. I'm not a big fan. I don't know if I could argue very well.
Oh my god.
I would love to have you on as a potential ghost judge or a co-host. You know what? I'll DM you. We'll figure something out.
Yeah, we could do that.
Even though I technically won the match, I felt like my reality got crumbled that night against Megan. Like the arguments being made, it became such a semantic argument that at one point she was going, "Well, what is best mean, or like what does difficult mean, or what is hard? What's the hardest bracket?" She's like, "What does hard even mean?" And I was like, "Oh my god, my brain melted."
That was like that's how it kind of evolved. I kind of so that was like definitely a bit weird one for sure. It was a fun one. It was also a weird one. We were experimenting and trying some new stuff with the format. So,
Alex, can we talk about our new thing that we have?
I was about to bring it up. Guys, we are putting something together. It's on Letterboxd. Okay, so pretty much we want to make things really easy for you guys as viewers to tell us what to watch, or just to suggest. Just put it in the in the universe, for what we should watch in the future.
Or join our Patreon and you can make us watch one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. So Drew and I are putting together, have this list on Letterboxd. See, you can follow us, but see, Cinema Bias, as you can see, movies we have not seen. I'm sorry, it doesn't.
One or both of us. So that doesn't give away anything. So like that's one or both of us have not seen these films. So you know, Eraserhead is on there. No spoilers, but I've seen Eraserhead.
Yeah, I have not seen any movie from the Scream franchise. There's Chinatown, LA Confidential, Social Network, Moonstruck, Groundhog Day, Life of Brian.
The hours.
What's the username for this account?
I'd say it is between mine and Drew's. We actually combined them together.
Oh, you guys on Letterboxd.
Which one of us has not seen the movie Quills?
Why do you have a Quills poster?
Because when I was up in my freshman year dorm room, I thought it was really cool.
That's so on brand.
To have a Quills poster my freshman year. I was like, all the movies no one will ever ask about.
Just a big Desaad fan.
Yeah, big fan.
Don't challenge me, Drew. Oh, I did follow you on Letterboxd.
Oh, yes, I do know that Joaquin Phoenix is in it.
Super hot, super sexy. Super sexy.
Let's run with that. But yeah, so give us a follow. Check out all the movies we haven't seen. I haven't seen The Thing. I haven't seen Seven Samurai, Life of Brian. I haven't seen the movie Seven, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Sicario, Speed, any movie from the Speed franchise, Chariots of Fire, The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, Saving Private Ryan. Heck,
let's say which ones you have.
News.
We'll figure out which ones.
Point is, though, guys. Go check it out, scroll through the movies, and give us a holler on Twitter or wherever it may be, and just let us know why the heck we haven't seen such movies.
Oh my god, I'm really excited about this because I need the login for it, because what I can't do on my own Letterboxd account is say that there are movies that I have on my watch list, because I don't want anyone to know what movies that I'm going to be possibly watching. I false flag a lot of stuff on Letterboxd. I basically treat Letterboxd like it is like this is like getting a German interference. Like I'm like Alan Turing.
She imagines like the Stasi is spying on her Letterboxd.
Because they are. Like that is how, as competitors, that's how seriously like we take this stuff. That we go on each other's Letterboxd and we go, okay, this person hasn't seen this one. But you don't care. But I do, and all I care about is the strategy. So I false flag a lot of information. Also, my reviews on Letterboxd are often one sentence that have nothing to do, or like if they have to do with the movie themselves, it will be like Godzilla's a standing up blizzard. Good job. Like it'll be stuff like that. So you'll never really know what movies I have and haven't seen. This, however, I'm really excited because I can keep my actual watch list on here and no one will know whose it is. So really excited about it. Really, really, guys. And yeah, if you join the Patreon, patreon.com/VideoDrew, there's a tier you can sign up for in which you can nominate 5 movies. We will look through them. And if either myself or Alex or both of us haven't seen one of them, we will have you come on and do this sort of thing where you tell us about the movie and like we talk about what our inherent biases is. Hopefully it won't be racism again, because that's not fun.
No,
yeah. Yeah, Letterboxd is awesome. Everyone needs to.
It's a fun time. It's just a fun time, even if you're not really big into watching movies or whatever. It's fun to like read a lot of these random weird movie reviews. Like it would be like Christopher Nolan's Interstellar sucks because there's too much space.
Can I give you like a brief little like insight of what my reviews say? So let's see. My recent activity says let's see. John Wick 3, Chapter 3, Parabellum just says must love dogs, except I spelled must wrong, so it says missed love dogs.
That was going to be my, like, if we ever do John Wick 3, that's my honest trailer title for it. Remember we said that, must love dogs?
Yeah. I said about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D, I actually had a very long review about.
Well, you had a lot of strong opinions about that.
When she goes, do your thing, cuz it was really good. Yeah. So, yeah. Check me out on there. Yeah. And check out
Letterboxd. Yeah, definitely check out the Letterboxd. We're working really hard to not only improve overall as Cinema Bias, but also working hard to make you feel much more comfortable hanging out with us as well, and just make it an overall interactive experience. I mean, who doesn't want that? That's just a good fun time. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Again, Cinema Bias. Check us out on Tuesdays, and also we're going to be coming to you from a podcast to you. So keep your lookout for that. Just saying.
Oh, hell yeah.
So just keep that in mind. But yeah, guys, thanks so much. We'll see you soon. Abby, Lon, Drew.
Say goodnight, Gracie. Also say
bye, guys.
Bye.
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 Be safe.